Hi everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. My name is Leonette and I'm so glad that you are here with me today. Today I'm going to show you how you can take a Dollar Tree tissue paper and use them for beautiful, quick, and easy DIYs. Let's get started. I just first want to show you some of the most beautiful tissue paper I've seen at Dollar Tree. I went the other day, I actually went to a new Dollar Tree that I hadn't been to, and I found some of the regular ones. So some of these really bright, beautiful colors. Then I saw some of these gray ones that had this really cute design. And then this one really attracted my attention because I can see like a kind of like a plaid. And then this greenery, I think it's beautiful. This one is stunning. I love these flowers, and it has this bright yellow one that I think it's pretty. And then this one here has more like a peach orangey tone, and it has this like flower design. It has the polka dot, and I just think it's really beautiful. All right, so we're going to start with some pink tissue paper, and Dollar Tree has these in a bundle with other colors, but sometimes you can find them just pink and just like solid colors. But nonetheless, I'm going to start with this pink one, and I'm going to cut them in little strips, and then I'm going to cut them into like almost square, but more like a little rectangles. And I didn't measure, I just kind of eyed them out. But if I were to measure, I think they were about maybe 3 inches by 4 inches, give or take. Then I'm going to fold them into fours, just like you see I'm doing here. And then I'm going to take the sides that are not folded, and I'm just going to round them off. Like a little wiggly, and just round them off because we're going to make little tiny flowers, and we are going to use them for a blossom tree. I've seen several creators recently do this, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I want to try this, and I want to try it using Dollar Tree tissue paper. So here we have it. Now we have all these little separate little pieces of tissue paper all cut. Now we're going to take a pencil, just because it's what I had on hand, and we're going to put one inside. We're just going to scrunch it just a little bit, and then we're going to place a second one right underneath, and then we are going to kind of tighten the bottom, and just be careful that you don't squish the flower too much. So just as you hold the flower lightly, just scrunch the bottom part into a really tight pointy part, and that way you're going to have a little flower. Now I didn't do this part, but I highly suggest you add a little dot of hot glue in between each sheet of tissue paper, because some of mine were falling off. So just so that you know that. Now I created a whole bud. Now we're going to create some little buds. So we're going to do the same thing. Cut these, round them off in the top, and then we're just going to scrunch them up, and we are going to make little buds. And these are just going to be one little sheet, and we're actually going to scrunch this one a little tighter. So see how I'm like folding it and scrunching it, and it's just going to create little buds for our tree branch. And I think this just adds a little dimension, just a cute little addition of flowers. All right, so here's what I've got so far. I have all the little flowers. Look how cute they are. And the great thing is that they're not all the same. So that's just perfect. And then I have some buds right here, some smaller ones that we are going to hot glue to the branch, and I'll show you the branch here in just a second. So I went outside and I just cut off a branch out of my tree. I got really lucky that my leaves are not coming out yet for spring, and we're just going to start applying and hot gluing the little flowers. Now you want to hot glue them specifically where there's a joint of two branches coming together, or where there's a joint where you just see like right there, like a little tiny branch was coming off. I just cut the branch off, and then I just added a little bit of hot glue, and I placed the flower. Now because they are made from tissue paper, you don't need a lot of hot glue. Just a little dab will be perfect. And I did that all over the tree, and again, just kind of eye it out and just kind of see where it needs to go. If you need to step away from the branch and just kind of see where things are, just want to make sure it's pleasing to the eye and it looks very natural. And then with the little buds, I try to place them more towards the upper part of each branch, because that way it just looks like those are just the newest little flowers coming out in the beginning of the branches. And there's one that I'm placing right now. I thrifted this vase several months ago and I flipped it and I added this beautiful textured white tone. So it was perfect for this blossom tree. So I'm just going to add some plastic bags right inside to tighten everything, and then some moss to kind of cover the bags. And I think this blossom tree turned out beautiful. It is my favorite from today. I have it right on my dining room table and I love it. If you enjoy DIY home decor, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I post every single week, so make sure you hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss any of the content. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this little garden sign. It is in the summer section. I'm going to remove the little jute string from the back, and then I'm going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. This is so that the base has a light tone and not a dark tone. Then we're going to take this floral tissue paper from one of the bundles that I got, and we are going to Mod Podge it to the front of the sign. You can use any Mod Podge you want. I got this one at Hobby Lobby several months ago. It is a matte finish. I prefer matte, but if you have glossy, I think it'll work fine. So we're just going to place the tissue paper right on top, avoiding any bubbles or wrinkles as much as possible. And of course, you don't want to tear it either, so be careful. Then with my sanding block, I'm just going to sand it down kind of like in a downward motion, like you see there. Now, my tissue paper was not fully dry. It was kind of dry, but not too much, so just make sure that you're careful. So I'm going to take this little decal from the Dollar Tree. It has faith, hope, and love. I'm going to take the love. I did cut off the little swoop at the end just so that it fits, and then we're going to place it towards the bottom right corner of the sign, and then we're going to seal everything with one more coat of Mod Podge over the tissue paper as well as the love. And I think it's beautiful. I love the way it looks right inside a plant. It would be perfect. Or you can also remove the stake, add a little string, and hang it on a wall. If you are enjoying this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel grow and helps this video reach more people. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to take some of these mini little canvases from the Dollar Tree. We're just going to use one. And then we're going to take some Dollar Tree poster board and we're going to trace the canvas and cut a piece that fits exactly to the little canvas. And then we are going to take this piece of poster board and I'm going to just go on my Cricut and cut out the letter B. And that's the first initial of my daughter, and I'm going to create this for her. I'm going to carefully remove the B from it, and we're not going to use the actual B, but we're going to use the frame around it. Now we're going to take these tissue paper from the Dollar Tree and we're going to take the green leaf one. I think it's gorgeous. We're going to take the canvas again. We're going to trace it, cut it, and this time we're going to cut it about a ½ inch smaller than the actual line, as you can see there. Then we're going to take the little canvas and we're just going to start eyeing it out and see if we need to cut more from the tissue paper, and we did. I want the edge to be just a little bit more bare, and you're going to see why in a minute, but I also want the tissue paper to be seen through the silhouette of the bee. So here I'm just measuring, making sure that it's going to be covered and it's going to be perfect. So then we're going to Mod Podge once again the tissue paper right to the center of the canvas. I'm not looking for all the edges to be glued down. It doesn't need to, just as long as most of it is Mod Podged, it would be fine. Then I'm going to take the poster board silhouette of the bee and we're going to give it a kind of like a wavy edge. So instead of a straight line edge, I want it to be a little bit wavy, but I do not want to cut too much off of it, so I'm just slightly going over the edge. Now I'm just measuring, making sure that it's what I wanted. I'm going to take some Waverly chalk paint in the moss, which is one of my favorite colors they have, and I am going to lightly paint just one coat all the edge all around, being very careful not to go too much in, but make sure that I have enough. And then once it's dry, we are going to then take the silhouette bee with the poster board. We're going to spray it with this Elmer's adhesive spray. We're going to spray the back of it, and then we're going to place it right on top. Now you have the beautiful tissue showing through the poster board. Then we have the edges showing very pretty, and of course we want to put the little middle section of the B. Then we're going to take some faux boxwood that I get on Amazon, and I do have on my Amazon store. Make sure you check out my Amazon store. It is always linked in my description box. I have my favorite items there from Amazon, and yeah, you can follow me there too, and anytime I add new products, you would be notified. I tied the 2 boxwood branches in the middle with some jute string, then hot glued it to the top, making sure the little branches are a little bit facing down. This burlap ribbon is from Dollar Tree. Recently found it. I think it's beautiful. We're going to hot glue a piece to the back. We're also going to tape it a little bit for extra security, and that's it. This one is stunning. My daughter absolutely loved it. She loved it, of course. It has her initial, and the colors are just absolutely beautiful. Again, one of my favorites. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to take a simple plain white tissue paper and we're going to cut it into strips. Actually, we're going to tear it. It does not need to be just straight. It can just be torn. And then we are going to take this jar of sauce. It's like it had pasta sauce on it, and it had, you know, the word on it, and it had glue on it, and it's okay because we are going to Mod Podge a lot of tissue paper on top to add a lot of texture. So we're going to add a lot of Mod Podge right on top of the jar, and then we're going to take the pieces of tissue paper and we're just going to place them, making sure that there are a lot of wrinkles. So here, gosh, you can go crazy with wrinkles. You don't have to worry about it being perfect at all. The more wrinkles, the better. It gets a little messy, but it's fun. And then we're just going to start applying more and more Mod Podge until the entire jar is covered. My friends, I want to remind you of my Etsy shop. If you have not visited yet, it is linked down below in the description box. I add farmhouse style decals all the time, and it is free shipping on any size orders. So if you do not have a cutting machine but you like to create your own signs, check out my Etsy shop. And again, it is linked down below. I let this one dry overnight because it is a lot of glue that we added, but look how beautiful it's looking. A lot of texture, everything hardened very nicely. Now I'm going to add some Waverly chalk paint in the agave. Again, one of my favorite colors. It is just beautiful, especially for summer. And we're going to give it one coat, a pretty heavy coat, making sure that we get in all the little nooks and crannies of all this texture, and then we're going to let it fully dry. Once it was dry, it is time to seal everything. So I'm going to use the Rust-Oleum chalked sealer. It's just a top coat and it's a matte finish, which is what I wanted, but you can use whatever you have on hand. You can use a polyurethane, which I use all the time, but I just added one pretty heavy coat and then let it fully dry, and then move on to the next step, which is adding some wax. Now the wax that I'm going to be using is by Dixie Belle. Is their best dang wax in the white. Then just take a little piece of rag and then I'm just going to start applying it. Basically, we just want to add a little bit of white wax so that all those textures and all those little nooks and crannies kind of pop, and it just takes the jar into a whole new level. I love using this white wax. I don't use it enough, but I should because it is beautiful. I am going to have Dixie Belle website down in the description box if you want to check them out. They have really good products, and but yeah, so I just did that all over the jar, and look how beautiful it turned out. That texture is priceless. I can see this being on a larger sign. Beautiful. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to take this floral tissue paper and we're going to start cutting it into 5-inch strips. And then we are going to, after I'm done with the strips, I'm going to fold them in half, and they're going to be about 10 inches long, maybe about 10.5 inches long. And we're just going to cut them, and we're going to use 5 of these rectangles because we are going to make small little flowers. I'm sure you've probably seen pom-poms, larger pom-poms being made with tissue paper. So it's going to be very similar to that, but it's going to be small flowers. So we're going to take 5 of these sheets. We're going to put them right on top of each other, and then we're going to start folding them at about maybe 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to flip-flop them. So we're going to fold and flip, fold and flip, almost as if we were creating an accordion. And we're going to do that all the way to the end of these strips. Then we're going to take our scissors and we are going to round off both edges. And you can create any shape here if you want. But for this one, we're going to round them off. And then we are going to tie them in the middle with some jute string. Now, this is all I had on hand, so I wanted it to have more of the lighter tone. But ideally, you want to use maybe fishing line or anything else that is smaller. But this one worked out really well. So I'm just going to tie it in the center with a knot. Then we're going to open them up and we're going to have like a little fan. And then we're going to start separating each little sheet of tissue paper. Of course, be very careful because this is tissue paper, so it could tear. Now, I tore mine a couple of times here and there. You'll never know. It is very forgiving, so don't stress about it, but just be very careful. So we're just going to start opening them up towards one side, and you can alternate each side. So what I did was I opened up, let's say 2 on each side, or 2 on one side and then 2 on each and the other side. So whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter as long as they are all opened and fanned out towards the same side. And obviously you can start seeing the shape of the flower being made. It is so beautiful. I love that I picked this floral design because I think it turned out perfect. So here I'm just fluffing and making sure everything is cute and neat. I'm going to do the same thing 2 more times using this lighter, it's like maybe like a lighter peachy pink color. And then the edges, instead of rounding them, we're just going to make them pointy. And we're going to cut them. Same thing. We're going to tie it in the middle, and then we are going to fan out all the little sheets of tissue paper one at a time. Now I have 3 little cute flowers. Look how stunning they look together. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to take a dollar spot from Target. This little wreath, it was $3. I use them all the time. They're really good quality and a great find for $3. We're going to hot glue the white one first, right on the left side of the wreath form. Then we're going to start adding the other 2, one underneath and one on top. And a little bit of hot glue goes a long way because these are very, very light. And we are just about done with this one. I can't even tell you. I did add burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree to hang it, but look how beautiful this looks. So easy, so inexpensive, and it's stunning. You're gonna have to let me know which one is your favorite. I can't choose, but I think the first one with the blossom tree, but the last wreath, my goodness, is beautiful. But let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. If you are visiting for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you consider joining our YouTube family. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I have a playlist as well as another video here with tons more of inspiration for you. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.